so not for nothing, I was working from home. You know, it's like the standard fucking wage. It's barely enough. And the break-ins, the broken Wi-Fi, the court cases and everything, and AI have made it very hard for me to find regular employment. And I just gotta say, for those of you doing rideshare, you know, let's make it known that we really need your tips. We depend on tips. This shit can have you do 12 hours, and you're making $100, and you're paying car insurance, car maintenance, tolls, and gasoline, car payments. You know, it just adds up, and it's a very hard way to make a living if you're driving 12 hours, because sometimes you can't pick up in the city, or you got to get stuck in traffic, or you're going back home. Now you got to drive back home, unless you're going to try to sleep in the car and do that. You do that for a week, my friend. Anybody driving 12 hours a day for a week, your body will feel the vibration. Even when you're not driving, your body will need to kind of recuperate. And I don't drive drowsy. I don't drive intoxicated. I drive sober, and I drive awake and aware and in a good mood. And that's for my safety as well as everybody else's out there. And so I'm trying to do the best I can to make some fucking money until I find some other kind of work. But not for nothing, I was stuck by myself all day long, working sometimes 7 a.m. to 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night on holidays just to make that mortgage payment and keep the roof from falling into my house. And this gig, the rideshare thing, has been a lot more enjoyable, a lot fun, but a lot more costly and expensive, and a lot harder to make a living. There's just a lot of costs involved, and it's very tricky. I know that you know, some fake folks do it, and they can turn around and clear a couple $100 easily. That's pretty hard when you have gas tolls and you're in a rural area. I think in New York City that's one thing, but I don't have the TLC. And unfortunately with this, you do every once in a while run into people who shouldn't be in public, let alone the back seat of my private vehicle, and cause a lot of stress. And every once in a while, you'll realize that a lot of people, you know, they just can't afford this service either, so they're not trying to tip you. And the rich folks, it's so funny. It's like the rich just don't tip at all. Some of them do. Some nice folks of mine. I'm going to be, you know, completely transparent. They do tip, but most of them don't, and they're rude, and they're pissed off that somehow or other their car broke down, or they're not driving. You know, it's bizarre how people feel like they want to take the liberty to be abusive with someone who's providing a service for them, because somehow they think that they're lesser than them. It's been a story of my fucking life, and you know, it's hard to get famous and do what you love, you know, doing and do it without getting arrested or getting thrown in jail. If you look at a lot of celebrities, they get famous, they did so at the right time, especially the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they did risk their freedom. But nowadays, with digital marketing and social media, the world has become so completely different and bizarre. I'm documenting myself, literally working myself to death to try to save everything I worked so hard for with my mom and dad, and that they worked very, very hard for their whole lives to pass on to us so that we can have it. And my brother has taken no interest and no participation whatsoever. He's made it difficult for me to establish estate accounts and sell anything that needed to be sold. And now when I go to try to do it, it's even become more complicated. And he knows damn well what he did, and the debt that it cost. And his attitude was just sort of wipe his hands clean of it and let me clean up the mess. And he needs to get his stuff out of there. It's, you know, gonna go up on YouTube soon, all this. I'm just documenting this because I woke up, had a fucking nervous breakdown. I can only wake up and run and exercise so much to deal with my emotional and and mental health. But you know, you get these constant. I get constantly bombarded by bills. I have no fucking family